Hey guys, and welcome back to The Pitch. I'm here with Kale, and we are going to discuss the whole trade between the Anaheim Storm and the Columbia Bison that went down. Kale, why don't you start us off? Let's start with the Anaheim Storm situation.
All right. So this is like a couple days old now, all this news, but it's still very big news. So the Anaheim Storm traded with the Bison, as we know, and the Storm got McKinley Franklin and at rookie Adam Luoto for nothing in return, and we'll get to why the Bison did that later. But what do I think about Adam Luoto and McKinley Franklin? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Well, I think the Storm were incredibly behind in terms of getting ready for JL 16, as it's only like close to a month away now.
Mm-hmm.
And, they needed players. They needed to start doing things. So it was good of Zach Sheldon to right away get guys, at least. I mean, the Storm now have Zach Sheldon, McKinley Franklin, and Adam Luoto, so they've got at least 3 guys. He says he's going to get more. But are they the best players? Well, McKinley's not. And Adam Luoto, he might be. Who knows?
We don't know.
But they got players.
Yeah.
Which is something that Tyler Hudson wasn't doing all offseason for
That's true.
explained reasons, as in the past news. But I don't think it was bad what they did.
No, I don't either. I agree with you completely. I think that, he had to fill his roster, and he needed to do it quickly, and he got, people that were already in the league, so, at least they've played, or supposedly supposed to have been playing in guys from the Bison. So I agree with you. I think it was fine. It's maybe not the best players, but he's doing what he needs to do this late in the game.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're late in the game. You want to make sure you have guys that are, like, McKinley Franklin has never missed a career game.
Right.
So he's always going to be there for you, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Zach's the owner. He's going to be there. And then Adam Luoto is just kind of a shot in the dark. Maybe see what happens. I mean, Eric Titus endorsed him in this offseason when the Bison first... Eric Titus went to the Bison management and said, hey, we should sign this guy. So you got to think he's going to be at least half decent.
Right.
But now let's talk about the Bison news.
Let's move to the Bison.
Which is the bigger, in my opinion, more interesting side of things.
So the Bison traded away those two for nothing. And the reason for that was they wanted to create space to sign Luke Ron, Jacob Ron.
Jacob's around. He's back.
He is back. And who's the last person?
Lucas Brown.
Lucas Brown.
And then James French re-signed himself.
But the more important thing here is that, at least to me,
if you want to see the details of all those contracts and everything, you can look them up on them.
But he didn't just sign them, but now all 4 of them are 25% owners of the Bison. This is large news, Kale.
Yeah, this was, I didn't see this coming on. We had, and others, had speculated that we thought Jacob Braun would probably, there's a good chance that the Bison would try to get him this offseason for JL 16, because he's been wanting to make a return back to the league, and the Bison seemed like a good fit. They're buddies and friends. Did we know that he was going to be basically bringing along Luke Ron and rookie Lucas Brown?
Nope.
With him? That I haven't got clarification yet as to if Jacob Braun is the one that brought those two, but I assume.
Yeah.
So, didn't really see that part coming. Then obviously the ownership part didn't see coming, because this is the very first time in league history that a franchise now is group ownership.
Yeah.
The most that's ever been is two people either co-owning at 50% or one a majority and one a minority. But now you've got 4 guys, and it's split equally. So the group ownership thing is very new, and I'm very interested to see how that works out.
Yeah. And so let's just talk about them as players.
Okay.
From last year, the roster of the Bison last year to this year.
Wasn't a year ago.
Whatever. From last season to this season, I think you agree with me here that it's slightly improved.
I think it is improved, yeah. I think when you look at what they had last season, which was well, what they had last season, what is the five, they're, assuming none of them that are making up the five right now get cut or something for them. You got Eric Tice and Eric Titus, wash. James French and James French, wash.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Bison last season had Ty Franklin, Michael Screen, and those two each played half the season. Ty Franklin played first half, then he was released, and Michael Screen was signed midway through the season, played the back half of the season.
Yeah.
And McKinley Franklin was the third. Okay, so those three versus Jacob Braun, Luke Ron, and Lucas Brown, who's a rookie and we don't know anything about yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jacob Braun and Luke Ron, just as good, if not better, the two of them combined, than Ty Franklin and Michael Screen.
Yeah.
And then you look at McKinley Franklin and Lucas Brown, and I'd bet money on Lucas Brown has more upside.
Yeah.
He might not be as good, but right now, more upside. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
And Jacob Braun's endorsing him as being a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take that bet.
So from a roster standpoint, we both think that they are improved.
And you have to expect that Eric Tice is going to get a little better next season, too.
Yeah.
With a season of experience under his belt.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think we're both on the same page. We think they're going to be at least slightly better. Will it get them over the top in terms of, are they going to get to the WWCD Cup or win a championship or anything like that? I don't think so, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. No.
Maybe some other people do.
But
we'd like to hear if you
they
do.
made the playoffs last year and were competitive, so.
Yeah, I would say I think they have a good shot to be a playoff team again.
Yeah.
Before they made this move, when it was just Eric Titus, Adam Luoto, rookie kid, and McKinley Franklin, and then James French probably eventually signing himself, and that's the roster they were going to put on the field for JL16 is what it was looking like for quite a while. I was thinking, I don't think this is going to be a playoff team this season. I just didn't see them making the strides as a franchise that's on the rise.
Yeah.
This, though it isn't a big stride, it is a stride. I think the biggest thing I took away from this is it's a lot of action that just occurred. Like, they made it was wild. Like, we're sitting here doing a 10-minute video on all of it.
Uh-huh.
They got 3 new guys, essentially. There was a huge mix and mashup now in ownership. Tons of action. And I think they only got slightly better.
Yeah.
But I'll give them this. I do think they got better.
True.
And I think at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
And I agree with that. Now, we're going to get into, to me, the more important part and the reason that I think that this was a bad move on the ownership part.
Okay.
And I will explain why. Because it's what you just said. Will these moves make them a WWCD Cup contender? No. Probably not. Now, the problem with that is 4 of their 5 players are owners now, 25% owners. And the one guy that's not is Eric Titus, who's not going to leave. So they really have nothing to do now. Because if you're an owner, you're not going to leave the team. So they really have no room to make any moves to improve their team to a team that can win a championship. And that's where I have the problem, because long term, in terms of winning a championship, I don't think this was a good move at all.
That's actually a fantastic point.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's like we're sitting here, I think, in our opinions. You got to remember these are just our opinions. Mm-hmm. We're sitting here thinking, oh, Bison, we think they improved. Clap, 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 clap. Okay, now when next season rolls around and maybe they did improve a little bit in the standings or in the playoffs, they won a playoff series or something like that. The next season comes around and it's the same guys, because if any of the 5 is going to leave, either they're going to get rid of Eric Titus, not going to happen, or one of those 4 guys that's now an owner is going to cut themselves as an owner and a player.
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely. So then you get stuck in a situation of, if they don't win a title, how do we keep improving, because nothing can change?
Yeah.
They've locked the,
They're in a very difficult spot.
So one of 2 things is going to happen. And if you look in the CBA, it says, too, this is what makes it difficult. An owner has to sign off on any transactions, any moves. And if the ownership is shared, the majority owner gets the final say. And if it's just shared equal, then all have to agree. So we're talking about 4 guys. So if they don't win the championship, any team doesn't win the championship, you have to think, how are we going to improve to win the championship next season? So if the Bison don't win the championship next season, we don't think they're probably going to.
No, probably not.
I wouldn't bet on it. Then they're going to go into next season thinking, how do we improve? And it's going to be really tough for 4 of them, who each hold a stake in the franchise now, to sit here and basically decide which one of us is now going to get cut so we can get someone else. It's just, they improved, but they've locked their future down tight to get out of.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're in a tough spot. Maybe they think that this team is going to win them a championship. And if they do, then, you know, that's what they're going with. But just long term, if it doesn't work out, which we don't think it will, it's going to be tough moving forward.
Yes. And the other interesting thing was Eric Titus was rumored when all this was going down 2 days ago by the folks who were putting it together, Jacob Braun and James French, mostly were spearheading the negotiations of all of this stuff. And Jacob Braun said Eric Titus is going to be a partner in this, and all 5 players were also going to be 5 owners, split 20% across the board. Well, then, I don't know what happened, but James French ended up confirming that that's not happening. So that's why it's 25 across the board, and Eric is the odd man out. Why that happened, I don't know. I want answers.
It's interesting.
It's interesting when you consider he's their best player, the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
In terms of a player. I mean, I guess face of the franchise would still probably be Frenchie. But...
yeah. I mean, it's shifting towards Titus.
Yeah. So I don't know what exactly happened there.
I have no idea what the thought process behind that was.
Frenchie said after the fact that, look, Eric Titus is the youngest of all of us. Besides Lucas Brown, he has the least amount of playing experience. You know, and he basically said as time goes on, we'll think about adding him into the management and ownership and all that stuff. But
it is funny that Lucas Brown, who hasn't played at all, has ownership, and Baby Titus, who is becoming the face of the Bison, has none.
Look, I think there were a lot of dealings in all of this Bison stuff that I think are never going to fully come to the surface, and we're never fully going to know. But I'll tell you this, in my opinion, I think, and maybe we could get this confirmed someday, I think Frenchie all along, as soon as he knew Jacob Braun was looking to make a comeback into the league, wanted Jacob Braun. I think they started talking. I think Jacob Braun said, I can bring, if I'm going to come back and play for your team, I want to bring my little brother Luke, and I've got this other guy that, Lucas Brown or whatever, and maybe he's afraid of that he's going to get cut or something, I don't know, but we need to give him and Luke ownership of the team somehow.
Yeah.
And Frenchie allowed it, I guess. And the stuff with Eric Titus, I don't know. But
I don't know. I have no answers.
It'll be interesting, I think, though, to watch not how this situation plays out this season,
after this,
but how it plays out in the off season going into jail 17.
Yeah.
Because that's when the decisions are going to be made. The decisions are made right now for this season. It's done. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how they do, and then, because think about if they don't make the playoffs, then it's like, whoa, we took a step back. We got to make big moves here. Who's gonna step
some
back?
Interesting conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be an awkward situation if it doesn't work out. If they win a championship, they're good.
Yeah.
But
I
don't think they're gonna win a championship.
No.
So I think that conversation is inevitable, and I'd love to be in that room when it's happening. I'm sure being the jail administrators and whatnot, we're gonna get.
Can't wait for that.
We're gonna get info as it's happening and stuff. Insider knowledge is gonna be fun for us, but we're not gonna get the full. You're only gonna get the full scoop if you're on that group text message, or if you're in that meeting or wherever they're meeting, or in the phone call or whatever they're doing. But that'll be. I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right, well, that is all we have. That is our video. Check out the next one whenever it is.
First trade ever that I think both teams got better by the trade, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because there's been some historically bad trades in this league
Oh yeah.
that were historically bad for one side.
Oh yeah.
But I think both were winners in this one.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Press the little red button.
That one?
Yeah.
This one right here?
Yeah.